Chapter 230. She earned a total of 162 copper coins, which was a huge sum of money in ancient times. Mulan held the money in her hands and could not believe it. She had earned so much money in such a short period of time. Wasn't it too much? Her family only earned 1 or 2 taels of silver after a year of hard work from farming and selling grain. Looking at Mulan's stunned and incredulous expression, Zhao Yun'er could not help but want to laugh. In fact, whether it was in ancient times or modern times, one could not earn much money by guarding 1 mu of land. The most profitable thing was still business. Doing business was the fastest way to earn money. Unfortunately, the merchants in ancient times were not like the merchants in the 21st century. The status of the merchants in ancient times was very low. In order to fix the peasants on the land, the ruling class basically limited the development of business in order to stabilize the country. Therefore, the status of the merchants was lower than that of the peasants. Because of this restriction, there were very few people who did business in the whole country. Sister-in-law Mulan, in fact, this is not a lot. If you work hard, you can find other businesses to do and earn much more money than this. Really? Yun'er? I didn't know that selling things could make so much money before. Of course it's true, but it also has to do with everyone's ability. Some people can make money while others can't. Mulan nodded and felt that Zhao Yun'er was right. If it were not for Zhao Yun'er's method, she would not have been able to sell it. Last time she could not sell one for half a day by herself. In the end, if it were not for Zhao Yun'er's help, she would probably have lost money. Sister-in-law Mulan, quickly put the money in your pocket. Don't let others remember it. Zhao Yun'er reminded her. There were many thieves on the street. It was the principle of not showing off one's wealth. Okay. Mulan heard Zhao Yun'er's words and quickly put the money away. There was still some time, so Mulan went to buy a caddy of pork. Seeing that Mulan was doing well, the woman who came with her asked with envy, "Mulan girl, your business is doing well? Are they all sold out?" "Yeah, I'm pretty lucky today." TSK. You must have made a lot of money, right? It's alright, it's not a lot. Sigh, I haven't even sold half of my vegetables. Mulan, how do you make those things? Teach Andy when you get back. It wasn't that Mulan didn't want to teach, but after she taught, people would also come to the streets to sell this thing. Her business would definitely be affected. She still wanted to earn more money. Zhao Yun'er tugged at Mulan's sleeve. Actually, there was no need to pay attention to this kind of person. She only knew how to think about other people's things and even said it so matter-of-factly. The ability to earn money wasn't something that could be taught. Chapter 231. I'll take Daodu to school when he's 6 years old. I'll teach Daodu some things in advance. Mulan nodded. Yun'er, you can read? Zhao Yun'er was stunned by Mulan's question, but she understood that Mulan probably thought that she was teaching Daodu how to read. Zhao Yun'er would never tell her that she had another man in her family, a capable and knowledgeable heir. She smiled awkwardly and nodded. Yes, I learned a little from my 5th uncle in the past. That was the only explanation she could come up with. Otherwise, how could a country girl who had never studied be able to read? I see. That's true. Yun'er, your 5th uncle is a scholar. He's very knowledgeable. If he can pass the provincial examination, your old Zhao family will be rich. Zhao Yun'er laughed. Whether old Zhao's family was rich or not had nothing to do with her. Yun'er, you're amazing too. There aren't many women in the village who can read. Mulan looked at Zhao Yun'er enviously. Basically, only rich families would allow their daughters to study. Of course, that was very rare. That's nothing. I can only read a few words. I don't know anything else. Mulan, on the other hand, is afraid that sister-in-law, you're clever with your hands. The two of them complemented each other. Zhao Yun'er thought of Zhu San'er. He was about 5 or 6 years old and should be able to go to school. She asked Mulan for her opinion. Sister-in-law Mulan, are you going to send your 3rd son to school? Mulan sighed. Of course I want to. But my family Zhu isn't a rich family. Besides 3rd son, there are 2 other boys at home. My parents can't possibly say that they're only going to send 3rd son to school, right? Moreover, the tuition fee for a year is too high. I don't think 3rd son can afford it. Mulan seemed a little helpless. It wasn't that she didn't want to send 3rd son to school. It would cost a lot of money and she had to consider the actual situation. Zhao Yun'er thought for a moment. Sister-in-law Mulan, if you can earn so much money every day in the future, you will definitely save enough for San'er to spend in a year. If you have enough money, can you send him to school? Mulan was silent for a moment and shook her head. I probably can't. Even if I earn money, I have too much money. And my mother probably won't let him study. There are many children at home, so the expenses are high. Aren't most of the children in the village not educated? Sister-in-law Mulan, if that's the case, then you can't live's family. Wouldn't it be too much of a loss for you to spend the money you've earned with the whole family? What was the reason for doing business? Wasn't it to make your life better? Even the money you earned couldn't be spent on the things you wanted. It was better not to earn such money. Speaking of this, Mulan was even sadder. In the past few years, the third branch wasn't favored. Mrs. Zhu didn't like her, so she had to do a lot of housework alone. Compared to her, the other two family Zhu's daughters-in-law were much more comfortable. If she could live with them, she also wanted to live with them. At least if they lived separately, she wouldn't have to take care of the whole family, but her own branch. That would definitely be much more relaxed. Her mother-in-law had a sharp tongue. She liked to scold people when they didn't do anything well. Chapter 232. There were still 3 children at home, so the whole family could barely survive. If they split up and didn't get anything, they wouldn't be able to survive. Forget it, we'll talk about this later, Mulan said helplessly. Xiaoyun couldn't say anything. Since Mulan didn't want to, she couldn't force them to split up. If Mrs. Zhu found out, wouldn't she run to her door and scold her? The two of them returned to old Father Hu's ox cart. Every day they had to spend Lu Wen's money to go back and forth on old Father Hu's ox cart. Moreover, they had to wake up early in the morning. If she sent bullfrogs over a long period of time, especially when Aunt Lu's family would help her buy bullfrogs in a few days, the amount of bullfrogs she sent would be much larger. If he were to take the bullock cart again, the goods he was selling would be exposed one day. Xiaoyun wondered if she should buy a mode of transportation. The price of this ox was too high. She definitely couldn't afford it. If she bought a horse, the price of a horse would be more expensive. Mules and donkeys in this era were slightly cheaper. Especially donkeys. A donkey wasn't very heavy. 100 to 200 caddies was enough for her. She wasn't in a hurry to go to Yang City every day, so there was no need to buy a horse that could run especially fast. According to the price of this era, a donkey was about 2 taels of silver. 2 taels of silver wasn't a lot, but it wasn't a little either. Xiaoyun didn't have the ability to buy one now. The money she had saved up was only a few hundred copper coins. However, when the time came, Aunt Lu's son would help her buy more bullfrogs. The more bullfrogs they caught, the more money they could make from selling them. When the time came, she should be able to save up 2 taels of silver. After buying a donkey, not only could she use it to send bullfrogs every day, but she could also lend it to Aunt Lu's family. It would be more convenient to go to other villages to collect goods. In addition, she and Mulan might be able to find some small businesses to do. With a donkey, they didn't need to take the ox cart. It would be more convenient to sell things on the streets. Old Father Hu's ox cart jolted and finally returned to the village. Once Xiaoyun returned, she put down the things she bought and took out the books, paper and pen and gave them to Daodu and Zhao Tianfu. Both of them looked very happy. He held these things lovingly in his hands. Seeing the 2 children so happy, Xiaoyun was satisfied. What she wanted to see the most was the 2 children being happy. Daodu, you and little uncle take the books and let your Uncle Feng teach you. Nyangqin is going to cook now. Xiaoyun said. All right. The 2 children happily carried the books into the room and went straight to Mu Lianfeng. Xiaoyun went into the kitchen to prepare lunch. When there was meat, the food was very sumptuous. In addition, Xiaoyun had many ways to cook the meat. No matter which dish it was very appetizing. At noon, they ate to their heart's content. For Mu Lianfeng, he liked the home-cooked dishes made by Xiaoyun more than the dishes made by the Crown Prince residents. After a few days of peaceful and warm life, Mu Lianfeng found that he didn't want to go back to the Crown Prince residence. The injuries on his body should be healed slowly. This way he could stay with Xiaoyun for a few more days. After lunch, Xiaoyun took care of the vegetable garden again. The seeds that were planted began to sprout. The fastest growing ones were the cabbages. She estimated that they would be able to eat them in 10 days to half a month. After busying herself with the vegetable garden, Xiaoyun carried the basket on her back and had to go up the mountain. Chapter 233. She originally needed to change Mu Lianfeng's dressing today, but it hadn't been done yet. She would wait for the herbs to be picked before changing Mu Lianfeng's dressing. Seeing that Xiaoyun was about to leave, Daodu hurriedly put down the book in his hand and ran to Xiaoyun. He asked in a childish voice, "Mother, where are you going?" "I'm going to the mountain to pick herbs for your Uncle Feng." Oh, then Mother, Daodu will go with you," Daodu said. The mountain was dangerous. Daodu was afraid that something would happen to Xiaoyun if she went alone. It was always good for him to accompany her. "Second sister, me too." Zhao Tianfu also said. They were all going together. There was no reason for him not to go alone. Okay, then let's go together. Zhao Yun went a few times and really didn't encounter any danger. Perhaps the people in the village were exaggerating too much, or perhaps they had heard the rumors from the past and believed it. They were convinced that there was something strange on the mountain. Until now, no one had tried to enter the mountain. Zhao Yun set off with the two children. Mu Lianfeng was left alone in the house. He felt a little lonely. Before Zhao Yun went out, Mu Lianfeng reminded her, Miss Yun, be careful on the road. Don't worry. It's been hard on you. It's okay. Mu Lianfeng smiled slightly. His beautiful smile dazzled Zhao Yun's eyes. Zhao Yun hurriedly pulled the two children and left together. She was afraid that if she stayed for a second longer, she would be immersed in Mu Lianfeng's smile. On the way up the mountain they met Chen Erwa, a little friend who usually caught bullfrogs with Daodu. He was a relatively well-behaved child. Most of the time, people from the countryside would give names like this. They weren't as particular as modern people. His name was Erwa, the second child in the family. Chen Erwa was 7 or 8 years old, about the same age as Zhao Tianfu. He probably didn't eat nutritious food on a daily basis, so he was so skinny that he looked like a bag of bones. Zhao Yun felt sorry for her. So when Chen Erwa went to her house, she took out some food for Chen Erwa to eat. Although the Chen family had separated, Chen Erwa's parents had 4 or 5 children in total. He also had several younger brothers and sisters. Their family didn't have much land and they had many children. Naturally, the food they ate was poor. Chen Erwa's mother, Feng Yu, is from the same village. Zhao Yun has seen her before. She was only 3 or 4 years older than Zhao Yun. He was clearly only in his 20s, but he looked abnormally old. He looked like a man in his 30s or 40s. This woman had become like this because she had given birth to so many children, which was harmful to her body. Secondly, she had to take care of several children every day while maintaining the household chores. It was extremely tiring every day. Thirdly, his family was poor and he couldn't afford to eat anything good. It was strange that people didn't age well. In addition, Feng Yu was dark to begin with. In this way she would probably become an old woman in a few years. What Zhao Yun couldn't figure out was that the people of this era were obviously very poor, but they still kept giving birth to children. If they gave birth to fewer children, their family wouldn't be like that. They would have fewer mouths to feed and the pressure would be much less. Unfortunately, people in ancient times had different ideas. They believed that the more children there were, the better. In addition, the contraceptive measures in this era weren't good. Basically, every family had many children. Aunt Yun, can I go up the mountain with you to take a look? Chen Erwa asked timidly. Looking at the child's expectant eyes, Zhao Yun couldn't bear to refuse. Chapter 234. Zhao Yun felt that she needed to remind her, in case she really brought Chen Erwa up the mountain and encountered any danger. At that time, the child's family would come back to settle the score with her. Chen Erwa shook his head. Aunt Yun, I'm not afraid. You're all here, what's there to be afraid of? And I also want to go up the mountain to take a look. I've never been there before. Previously he had heard Zhao Tianfu and Daodu talk about some things on the mountain, but he had only heard about it from Zhao Tianfu and Daodu's ears. He had not seen it with his own eyes, but he was very interested. Zhao Yun thought that she also had 2 children, one more child was not much. So she said to Chen Erwa, Aunt Yun can take you there, but you can't tell your parents when you go back. Even if nothing happened on the mountain, Zhao Yun knew that the Chen family would definitely not want a child to go up the mountain and encounter any danger. Chen Erwa nodded heavily. Aunt Yun, don't worry, I definitely won't say anything. Zhao Yun smiled. Okay, let's go up together. And then, Chen Erwa's little face revealed an excited smile. This child was usually at home and was not valued by his parents. He was neither the oldest nor the youngest. He was not very smart and likable, but he felt happy to follow behind Zhao Yun. Chen Erwa walked behind Zhao Yun and Daodu, holding Daodu's hand very gently. Chen Erwa looked at the interaction between Zhao Yun and Daodu, and a trace of envy appeared in his eyes. If only his mother treated him like this. But since he was young, his mother had always yelled at him and had never been gentle. Zhao Yun turned around and looked at Chen Erwa to make sure that he was not following. When she turned around, she found Chen Erwa looking at her in a daze. Zhao Yun thought that something had happened to Chen Erwa, so she asked, Erwa, what's wrong? Chen Erwa pulled out a smile and said, Aunt Yun, it's nothing. Then hurry up and catch up. Don't fall behind. Watch your step, don't trip on the tree stump. Zhao Yun warned and then called Chen Erwa over. Come Erwa. Aunt Yun will hold your hand. This way we can walk more steadily. Qin Erhua was a little embarrassed and took the money. Zhao Yuner held Daodu in one hand and Qin Erhua in the other. Zhao Yuner's hand was a little warm. Qin Erhua felt very secure and warm. He raised his head and glanced at Zhao Yuner. At this moment he really wanted his mother to be like Zhao Yuner. If he could have such a mother he would be very happy, right? Zhao Yuner was looking for herbs on the mountain. When she found them she started digging with the children. Then he introduced the effects of the herbs to the children. Although the children were still young, it would be good for them to know more things in the future. Especially these more practical things. They dug the herbs for more than an hour. It was not easy to come to the mountain. Zhao Yuner was reluctant to go back, so she looked around to see if there was anything good. She saw a lot of birds' nests in the book. Zhao Yuner put down the basket in her hand and prepared to climb the tree to get the birds' eggs. Yun, I know how to climb trees. Let me go. Qin Erhua took the initiative. Chapter 235. Erhua, can you do it? If you can't, you can let Yun do it. Zhao Yuner was a little worried. This tree is not short. If he falls from the tree, it will not be a light fall. Yun, I can do it. Qin Erhua said. Daodu also said in a soft voice. Mother, Erhua Gij is very good at climbing trees. We have all seen it. Well, Erhua, then you go up. Slow down, don't fall. Zhao Yuner urged. She was still a little worried that Qin Erhua would have an accident. Qin Erhua nodded heavily. Zhao Yuner stood under the tree and saw Qin Erhua climb up the tree. The speed of climbing the tree is like a monkey. In addition, Qin Erhua is very thin and small. When he climbs the tree his body is very light. Zhao Yuner saw it with her own eyes. Only then did she know why this child took the initiative to ask her to climb the tree. He is indeed much more powerful than her. Qin Erhua took out all the eggs in the bird's nest. He took out a few birds' nests and got about 30 or 40 bird eggs. Plus he caught 3 or 4 big birds. When he goes back he can definitely eat a few sumptuous meals. Zhao Yuner picked a few large leaves and wrapped the bird eggs and put them in the basket. The bottom of the basket is filled with herbs. This kind of cushion will be soft and will not break the bird eggs. As for the bird that he caught, Zhao Yuner tied its wings and put it in the basket. Erhua, you have done the most today. When the time comes you can take half of the bird eggs back. Let your mother cook for you. This is delicious. Zhao Yuner lovingly touched Qin Erhua's head. Qin Erhua has never been praised by anyone. His parents have never said this to him. He was slightly moved in his heart. He said to Zhao Yuner, Aunt Yun, it's okay. You can take it back. I don't need it. What? You don't like to eat it? You should be polite to Aunt Yun. Qin Erhua still shook his head. Aunt Yun, even if I take it back, my mother may not let me eat it. So it's better for you to eat. Zhao Yuner sighed and looked at Qin Erhua with deep affection. She guessed that he was not favored at home, and it was not his turn to have delicious food. How about this, Erhua, come to Aunt Yun's place later. Yuner will cook for you, what do you think? Facing the gentleness in Zhao Yuner's eyes, Qin Erhua felt his heart melt. She lowered her head shyly. Aunt Yun, wouldn't that be too troublesome for you? Of course not. Then I'll eat at your place. All right. Today's harvest was quite bountiful. These eggs could be used to replenish the children's protein. When Zhao Yuner called the children down the mountain, she saw something moving in the grass not far away. It looks like a pheasant, Zhao Yuner said softly. When the children heard that it was a pheasant, they were all excited. Aunt Yun, I'll go take a look. Qin Erhua ran over. His footsteps were very light and no movement could be heard. Chapter 236. With the help of Zhao Yuner, the chicken couldn't run away even if it wanted to. Zhao Yuner quickly took out the hemp grass and tied the chicken's wings. She weighed it in her hand and estimated that it weighed 3 or 4 jin. It was fatter than the pheasants she usually saw. If she took it back to cook, she estimated that she could cook a large plate of chicken. It had to be said that Qin Erhua had done well to catch this chicken. Otherwise, with Zhao Yuner's skill, the pheasant would have flown away by the time she arrived. Aunt Yun, there are eggs in the chicken coop. Qin Erhua pointed to the chicken coop. Zhao Yuner looked down and saw that there were more than 10 eggs lying in the chicken coop. She didn't know if the pheasant wanted to hatch chicks. Zhao Yuner carefully picked up the eggs. She put them into the basket. Today's harvest was beyond her expectations. Erhua, you are so amazing. You can even catch this pheasant. Qin Erhua shyly scratched his head and his little face was red. However, it could be seen that he was still very happy to be praised by Zhao Yuner. Erhua Gij is so amazing. Daodu also looked at Qin Erhua with some admiration. It's nothing. Qin Erhua became more and more shy. Erhua, eat at Aunt Yun's place today. Yun cooked dinner early so that your mother won't be in a hurry to call you home for dinner. Xianxia shyly responded. Because of the bountiful harvest, when they went down the mountain they were very happy. Zhao Yun also sang a few nursery rhymes for the children. The children of this era had naturally never heard of it. Zhao Yun's voice was clear and pleasant, and her singing drifted far in the woods. The joy of this moment was very rare. And this carefree rural life, Zhao Yun found that she also liked it from the bottom of her heart. After walking for 20 or 30 minutes, they finally went down the mountain and reached the road in the village. She didn't expect to meet Xianxia's mother, Fengyu, on the way. When Fengyu saw Xianxia and Zhao Yun together and laughing so happily, his face immediately darkened. He scolded Xianxia and then said sternly, "Erwa, where did you go? Aren't you afraid that she'll lead you astray if you get together with anyone? Our Qin family is an innocent family." Fengyu's words were very unpleasant to hear. In fact, he was indirectly scolding the locust tree. She thought she was scolding Xianxia, but she was scolding Zhao Yun in disguise. Zhao Yun didn't feel good when she heard that. Was there a need for this Fengyu to speak so harshly? It was too much to do it in front of a child. Fengyu didn't feel it at all. A pair of eyes coldly swept over Zhao Yun's face with a look of disgust. Xianxia felt uncomfortable when he heard Fengyu say that about Zhao Yun. "Mother, don't say that about Aunt Yun. I want to play with Aunt Yun." Seeing that Xianxia actually defended Zhao Yun, Fengyu was even more furious. She poked Xianxia's head with her thick black fingers and reprimanded, "You damn child, how dare you talk back to your mother? If I see you running away in fear and hanging out with some shady people again, I will break your legs." Xianxia didn't dare to speak after being scolded. Zhao Yun looked at Fengyu's attitude towards Xianxia and shook her head in her heart. This child was really pitiful. After all, he was her own child. She didn't need to treat him like this, right? Chapter 237. Zhao Yun's words made Fengyu very unhappy. Fengyu coldly snorted at Zhao Yun and said, "What? I'm disciplining my son and you want to interfere? Zhao Yun, who do you think you are? Meddling in other people's business." Zhao Yun was refuted by Fengyu and didn't know what to say. She was silent for a moment. There was nothing wrong with what Fengyu said. She was disciplining her own child. She had no right to interfere. However, Xianxia was scolded like this because he was with her. After thinking about it, Zhao Yun replied, "I don't care if you discipline your own child. Then tell me, what do you mean by a shady person? You have to give me an explanation for scolding me like this, right?" Fengyu rolled her eyes at Zhao Yun. If you're not a shady person, then what are you? Doesn't everyone in the village know what kind of woman you are? You got pregnant before marriage and then seduced men. You dare to do it but don't dare to let others talk about it?" Zhao Yun looked at Fengyu's rampant appearance and really wanted to slap her a few times. After all, she was Xianxia's mother. In front of Xianxia, Zhao Yun couldn't do anything. "You're not allowed to talk about my mother like this." Dao was also angry. His little face angrily stared at Fengyu. "So what if I talk about your mother? Aren't you also a little bastard? Tell me, where's your father? Is there no one?" Dao was so angry that he cried for a moment. He suddenly threw himself into Zhao Yun's arms. Xianxia couldn't stand Fengyu's excessive appearance and said to Fengyu, "Mother, how can you say that about Aunt Yun and Dao? You're so bad." Zhao Yun patted Dao's back with one hand. She could endure it, but in front of Xianxia, it was fine as long as they didn't do anything too excessive to her. Obviously this Fengyu wasn't. This woman was simply pushing her luck. Just as Fengyu was feeling proud of himself, Zhao Yun slapped Fengyu across the face. Fengyu immediately felt a burning pain on his face. "How dare you hit me? I'll fight you to the death." Zhao Yun scolded, "I'm warning you, don't provoke me. This slap is for what you said. If you fight me again you'll end up worse than this." Xianxia quickly pulled Fengyu back. "Mother, don't fight with Aunt Yun. You can't beat her." Fengyu had heard some things in the village before. The current Zhao Yun was not as easy to bully as before. She was very powerful. If he couldn't make a move, was he going to take a slap for nothing? Fengyu sat down on the ground and began to cry. He cursed, "You hit me. Is there any justice in this world?" Zhao Yun frowned in disgust. This Fengyu was not old, but how could she be more difficult to deal with than those middle-aged women in their 30s or 40s? "Mother, get up." Xianxia pulled Fengyu on the ground. Fengyu blamed the pain of her slap on Xianxia. Chapter 238. Zhao Yun looked at Xianxia with heartache and helped him up. "Erwa, how are you? Does it hurt?" Qin Erwa shook his head, feeling wronged. No pain? Sigh, how could that be? So much of his skin had been scraped off. The injury was already very serious. Sighing, Zhao Yun could not say anything. The more she blamed Feng Yu, the more disappointed Qin Erwa would be. She thought that it would take a long time, but fortunately Qin Erwa's father, Qin Aniu, came over. Qin Aniu was only 27 or 28 years old. He looked like Feng Yu, very dark and very skinny. However, he was very tall, about 1.8 meters. In this era he was already considered tall. Qin Aniu saw his wife sitting on the ground carelessly and could not help but frown. He pulled Feng Yu up. Why are you sitting on the ground? What do you look like? Qin Aniu's tone had a hint of reprimand. In this era where men were superior to women, most women were more afraid of men and were submissive to men. After Qin Aniu reprimanded her, Feng Yu did not dare to cry too loudly. Instead she complained to Qin Aniu. Aniu, look at my face. It's so red. It's all because of this B*****. Qin Aniu looked at Feng Yu's cheek that had been slapped. He replied faintly, your face is clearly dark. Where is it red? Because of Qin Aniu's words, Zhao Yun almost burst out laughing. She was originally quite angry, but now she only felt that it was funny. Feng Yu's face was dark. She really did get slapped, but there was no reaction. It was probably because the original black color covered the red color. Speaking of which, this Feng Yu was also very dark. She looked like she came from Africa. Feng Yu was a little anxious. She moved her face closer and pulled Qin Aniu, saying, look again, Aniu, look again. It's definitely there. Qin Aniu was a little annoyed. Alright, what's going on? She wouldn't hit you for no reason, right? Zhao Yun looked at Qin Aniu again. She felt that this man should be more reasonable than Feng Yu. Without waiting for Zhao Yun to explain, Qin Erwa helped Zhao Yun to explain. Qin Aniu's face darkened. He reprimanded Feng Yu, you still have the face to be hit? You're just a troublemaker. Feng Yu felt wronged. Aniu, you're my man. You're not helping me, you're helping another woman? Has your soul been taken away by this little B****th as well? How could this be? Aniu? He had only seen Zhao Yun today. How could he have any shady business with Zhao Yun? You crazy woman. If you talk nonsense again, I'll teach you a lesson when we get back. Qin Aniu said fiercely. Feng Yu didn't dare to speak anymore. Qin Aniu looked at Zhao Yun and apologized to Zhao Yun. Miss Yun my wife's words were a little harsh. I hope you don't take it to heart. I'll apologize on her behalf. Since Qin Aniu had said so, Zhao Yun didn't have any reason to not let it go. On the contrary, this Qin family finally had a reasonable person. She was quite glad. They were all his children. For so many years, if he had not often protected Erwa, who knew what would have become of him? Chapter 240. Woman, what nonsense are you spouting again? I'm just telling the truth. Child's father, what kind of lie are you spouting? I don't know who was the one who stared straight at that bitch just now and you still say you didn't? Why don't you ask others if they believe you? Feng Yu cried and made a fuss again. The more she thought about it, the more aggrieved she felt. Wasn't that bitch just a little better looking than her? Was there a need to stare at her like that? You're too unreasonable. If you keep spouting nonsense, see if I don't teach you a lesson. Qin Aniu glared at Feng Yu fiercely. Feng Yu was frightened by Qin Aniu's look. She knew that if she spoke too much, Qin Aniu might beat her when they got back. She quickly shut her mouth, but her hatred towards Zhao Yun increased a little. After Qin Aniu and Feng Yu left, Zhao Yun squatted in front of Qin Erwa and asked softly, Erwa, it hurts a lot, right? Can you stand up and walk? Or Aunt Yun will be. Qin Erwa quickly shook his head. It's okay, Aunt Yun, I can walk by myself. Really? Erwa, don't try to be brave. Really, Aunt Yun, I'll get up slowly and walk slowly. It'll be okay. Qin Erwa insisted. Zhao Yun looked at Qin Erwa admiringly. Actually, this child was not that old. If it was the 21st century, he would have already thrown himself into his parents' arms and cried in pain. How could he be like now, not crying or making a fuss and still insisting on getting up by himself? Erwa is great. Zhao Yun praised and helped Qin Erwa up. Then she supported him and followed her back home. Zhao Yun put down the basket and took out the things inside. She picked out the medicine to stop bleeding and pain, ground it and started to apply it on Qin Erwa's leg. She took out a piece of white cloth and bandaged Qin Erwa's leg. How is it, Erwa, are you better? And much better. Thank you, Aunt Yun. No need to thank me. Zhao Yun patted Qin Erwa's head. He asked Qin Erwa to sit down and rest while Zhao Tianfu accompanied him. Dao, on the other hand, had already run into the house. Zhao Yuner got up, carried a basin of hot water and entered the room. After entering, she found Dao crying in Mu Lianfeng's arms. Mu Lianfeng hugged Dao and gently patted Dao's back. Dao's small body sank into Mu Lianfeng's embrace. Was a little warm. Zhao Yuner hurriedly asked, Dao, what's wrong? Zhao Yuner could hear Dao's soft sobs. If the child wanted to cry, shouldn't he be crying in her arms? How did she end up in Mu Lianfeng's arms? Dao lifted his small and delicate face, which was still tear-stained. Looking at Dao's aggrieved little face, Zhao Yuner's heart ached. Mu Lianfeng explained, Yuner, Dao said that he wants a father. Zhao Yuner was stunned. Mu Lianfeng began to explain again. Dao said that others say that he is a wild child and has no father. If I become his father, no one will say that about him anymore. Zhao Yuner was a little embarrassed. Master Mu, Dao is young and doesn't know anything. He just said that casually, don't take it seriously. Chapter 241. Besides what? Besides, I think Dao is very cute. I'm very happy to be Dao's father. Mu Lianfeng said with a faint smile on his lips. Looking at the smile on Mu Lianfeng's face, which seemed to have a deeper meaning, Zhao Yuner was a little embarrassed. What did this man mean? If he was willing to be Dao's father, did that mean that he was willing to marry her? Was this a confession to her? Zhao Yuner shook her head. Maybe she had misunderstood and was narcissistic. Mu Lianfeng had so many women around him and there were so many beauties. With so many beauties around him and her looks were so ordinary. Would Mu Lianfeng take a fancy to her? It wasn't that he wasn't confident, but sometimes it was better to be realistic. Otherwise there would be a misunderstanding and a joke. Young Master Mu, are you joking? Zhao Yuner said with a smile. Joking? Miss Yun, or why would I joke? I really like Dao and I think Dao is very good. Why don't I take Dao as my godson? Mu Lianfeng was still smiling as he said to Zhao Yuner. Young Master Mu, you want to take Dao as your godson? Zhao Yuner asked with uncertainty. What was Mu Lianfeng's status? He was the heir. If he took Dao as his godson, Dao's status would rise along with Mu Lianfeng. Seeing that Zhao Yuner didn't say anything, Mu Lianfeng thought that Zhao Yuner didn't agree, so he asked again, What's wrong, Miss Yuner? Does Miss Yuner think that it's inappropriate for Dao to take me as his godson? No. Zhao Yuner hurriedly waved her hand. Then, young Master Mu, it's not a small matter to take in a godson. Do you need to discuss it with your family? Will it affect you in the future if you take in Dao? After all, you're not married yet. Naturally, no one else can interfere with my decision. As long as Miss Yuner agrees, there's no need to worry about anything else. Zhao Yuner had no reason to refuse after hearing Mu Lianfeng's words. If Dao was willing, Mu Lianfeng was also willing. Was too. It's their family's family. That's right, they were at a disadvantage. Only his faces Goer's eyes. He was just waiting for Zhao Yuner to nod. If Zhao Yuner refused, Dao would probably be sad again. The corners of Mu Lianfeng's lips curled up slightly. That's good. Is there any ceremony needed for this? Zhao Yuner asked. The ceremony of the 21st century was probably different from the ancient times. She didn't know what to do in this era. Miss Yuner, I'll do the ceremony when I get back to the Shixi's residence. All right then. Seeing that Zhao Yuner and Mu Lianfeng had reached an agreement, Dao wiped away the tears on his face with his tender little hands. Mother, father, Dao's mother, and father, were very sweet, and it softened people's hearts. Chapter 242. Dao won't be a fatherless child from now on, Dao is so happy. Dao said in a soft voice, his pair of beautiful eyes curved into crescents when he smiled. Mother, then is Uncle Mu considered mother's husband now? Uncle Mu is tall, handsome, and rich. Dao looked at Zhao Yuner with an innocent face. The corner of Zhao Yuner's mouth twitched slightly. Children. Were they all so naive? Dao, it's true that your Uncle Feng is your godfather, but he has nothing to do with mother. Zhao Yuner hurriedly clarified, afraid that Mu Lianfeng would misunderstand. Dao's words just now had already made her very embarrassed. She didn't know if Mu Lianfeng would laugh at her in his heart. She secretly glanced at Mu Lianfeng and found that the smile on his face had deepened. Her face slightly reddened. Zhao Yuner hurriedly shifted her gaze away. Dao looked at Zhao Yuner with a puzzled expression. Mother, why is that? Uncle Feng is my father. Come, mother, you are my mother, so wouldn't Uncle Feng be mother's husband? Dao's deductive ability seemed very strong. but as a child there were many things that he didn't understand. This, Daodu, you can't count it like that. You recognize your Uncle Feng as your godfather, so that's between you and your Uncle Feng. If your Uncle Feng wants to become Mother's husband, then Mother must marry your Uncle Feng. Daodu nodded as if he didn't fully understand. Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng definitely wouldn't marry Mu Lianfeng just because Mu Lianfeng was his godfather. Of course, even if she was willing, Mu Lianfeng might not be willing. If Mu Lianfeng agreed, he had the support of the Shitzi Manor behind him. If those upper-class people knew that Mu Lianfeng had married a village woman, and a village woman with a child, they would probably object. Mother, in that case, won't it be fine if Uncle Feng marries you? Zhao Yun'er was rendered speechless by Daodu's words. How could this child think of such things? Was he really a 3-year-old child? Mu Lianfeng finally couldn't help but laugh. This smile was too beautiful. It was even more charming than a woman's. It had to be said that Mu Lianfeng's face had both the heroic spirit of a man and the beauty of a woman. He had never seen such a beautiful and exquisite face anywhere else. Mu Lianfeng's laughter made Zhao Yun'er feel even more at a loss. Mu Lianfeng was probably laughing at her, right? If he was laughing at her, then so be it. Daodu, this child, had probably already sold her out. Zhao Yun'er was afraid that the image she left in Mu Lianfeng's heart would be that of a woman who loved money and handsome men. Although, in reality, she was more or less such a woman. This, Daodu, you can't speak carelessly. Zhao Yun'er said softly and patted Daodu's head. Mother? Can't I? Daodu looked at Zhao Yun'er in confusion. Chapter 244. Zhao Yun'er walked over and saw a basket in Xiaohong's hand. There seemed to be something in the basket. Zhao Yun'er caught a glimpse of a few eggs and became even more curious. Could it be that Xiaohong had given her these things? What did that mean? Putting away the curiosity in her eyes, Zhao Yun'er walked up to Xiaohong and asked, "Why are you here?" Zhao Yun'er's attitude was very cold. Zhao Yun'er felt that there was no need to be polite with Xiaohong, who was a white lotus who had harmed her behind her back. "Sister Yun'er, I'm here to send you something." Xiaohong put on a smile in the face of Zhao Yun'er's coldness. Then she handed the basket in her hand to Zhao Yun'er. "Sister Yun'er, here are some eggs, 10 of them, and some brown sugar. Daodu is still young. Give it to Daodu to nourish his body. Sister Yun'er saved me last time, but I didn't have the chance to thank you." From what Xiaohong said, she seemed to be a kind-hearted person who knew how to repay kindness. But in fact, she was stabbing someone in the back. She really looked innocent and harmless, but her heart was like a snake. If others saw the things that Xiaohong had sent over, they would indeed feel that it was good. 10 eggs was a rare thing in the countryside. But for Zhao Yun'er, she didn't think much of it now. Moreover, Xiaohong had suddenly sent her these things. Who knew what she was up to? "You can take it back. I don't lack it." Zhao Yun'er didn't even look at it and coldly threw a sentence. Xiaohong was slightly taken aback. Zhao Yun'er was obviously so poor, but she didn't even look at the eggs. Was strange. "Sister Yun'er, what's wrong with you? Do you think that the things I gave you are too shabby?" Xiaohong pretended to be sad. Zhao Yun'er frowned in disgust. This woman was really good at pretending. "Don't you understand human language? Or are we two different species? I said I don't need it." "But..." Xiaohong bit her lower lip, looking sad. "Xiaohong, to be honest, there's no one else here. You don't have to pretend with me. You don't have to use your things to please me. I know what you've done." Zhao Yun'er sneered. She completely treated Xiaohong as a clown, acting in front of her. Yet she had seen through this show once again. A complicated expression appeared in Xiaohong's eyes, and the smile on her lips seemed a little stiff. However, she continued to smile at Zhao Yun'er. "Big Sister Yun'er, I don't know if you've heard some rumors or misunderstood me. I really didn't do anything to let you down." "Little Sister Xiaohong, I didn't say that you did anything to let me down. Why are you in such a hurry to explain? Or should I say you're just giving yourself away?" Xiaohong hurriedly waved her hands. "Big Sister Yun'er, that's not it. I'm just afraid that you'll misunderstand. You know that the women in our village are like this. They like to say things that don't exist." Just as Xiaohong was about to leave, Zhao Yun'er saw Lu Lei walking over from not far away. An idea flashed through her mind. Since Xiaohong, this white lotus, wanted to frame her, then she would let Xiaohong know what it was like to be framed. An eye for an eye. Chapter 246. Ouch! Zhao Yun'er cried out in pain. Lu Lei saw it from afar and immediately ran over. How are you? Are you okay?" Zhao Yun'er squeezed out a tear from her eye and said to Lu Lei, "I'm fine. Lu Lei frowned. How could she be fine after falling so hard? Of course he didn't believe that Lu Lei would fall when he was fine. He seemed to have seen Xiaohong push her just now. How did you fall? Lu Lei asked with a guess in his heart. I fell down myself, Zhao Yun'er said, but she glanced at Xiaohong. This feeling of wanting to cover up made Lu Lei even more certain that Xiaohong pushed her. He turned to Xiaohong coldly and said to her, Xiaohong, how many more times are you going to play such vicious tricks? How did Yun'er offend you? You've harmed her time and time again. The first time, you framed her for pushing you into the river, causing Yun'er to be misunderstood and scolded. The second time, you spread the rumor that Yun'er seduced Lu San, and Yun'er was scolded even more severely by the villagers. If she hadn't clarified it later, who knows what her reputation would have become in the future. Now you pushed Yun'er. Just how vicious is your heart? Lu Lei naturally knew that Xiaohong was targeting Zhao Yun'er because of him. Xiaohong thought that the person he liked was Zhao Yun'er, so she kept targeting Zhao Yun'er. In that case he was the one who had implicated Zhao Yun'er. Xiaohong was taken aback by Lu Lei's sudden words. Her eyes instantly turned red. Was she such a woman in Lu Lei's eyes? Xiaohong hurriedly said, Brother Lu, no, I didn't push her. Xiaohong wasn't stupid. She understood that Zhao Yun'er had framed her. This B*TCH actually knew how to frame others. Xiaohong had never been wronged like this before, so she was naturally indignant. Who else could it be but you? Are you saying that Yun'er is framing you? Big Brother Lu, believe me. It was Zhao Yun'er who framed me. I didn't push her. Xiaohong was a little anxious. After all, she liked Lu Lei. If Lu Lei misunderstood her as such a woman, Lu Lei probably wouldn't like her anymore. When Lu Lei's back was facing Xiaohong, Zhao Yun'er revealed a smug smile to Xiaohong, deliberately provoking Xiaohong. As expected, Xiaohong was so infuriated by Zhao Yun'er that she lost her rationality. She rushed to Zhao Yun'er and pointed at Zhao Yun'er's nose. B*TCH, you framed me? Why did you frame me? Zhao Yun'er pretended to be scared and hid behind him. She looked very scared. Little sister Xiaohong, when did I frame you? You speak with your conscience. I said something about being cold to you just now. Zhao Yun'er's tone sounded very aggrieved. However, there was a flash of slyness and smugness in her eyes. Seeing Xiaohong's flustered and exasperated look was really satisfying. She should have known that a woman like Xiaohong didn't care about other things. She only cared about Lu Lei's attitude. If Lu Lei's impression of her was any worse, it would be worse than beating her up. After all, no woman wanted to leave a bad impression in front of the man she loved. Chapter 247. Big Brother Lu. Why don't you believe me? Believe Zhao Yun'er. I really didn't push her. She deliberately fell down in front of you to make you think that I pushed her. Zhao Yun'er, what are you thinking? Xiaohong felt like she was going crazy. How could she be so pitiful to be targeted by Zhao Yun'er? And Zhao Yun'er really wasn't as soft and easy to bully as she thought. Enough. Lu Lei said coldly. Xiaohong, I know better than you what kind of person Yun'er is. I hope you won't hurt Yun'er again. Otherwise, I won't be polite to you. Facing Lu Lei's coldness, Xiaohong knew that Lu Lei didn't want to believe her at all. His heart was completely on Zhao Yun'er's side. Xiaohong wasn't such a stupid woman. She knew that the more she didn't admit it, the more people would say that Zhao Yun'er framed her. Then the more Lu Lei would side with Zhao Yun'er, the more he would hate her. So now she could only retreat in order to advance. She didn't want to fall out with Lu Lei. Zhao Yun'er, Xiaohong glared at Zhao Yun'er angrily. She gritted her teeth and then said to Lu Lei, Big Brother Lu, I'm sorry. I was too agitated. Maybe I accidentally pushed Sister Yun'er. I really didn't mean to hurt her. Sister Yun'er is so nice. Why would I push her? Xiaohong instantly became a pitiful white lotus again. Zhao Yun'er looked at Xiaohong a few more times. It seemed that this woman was quite smart. She didn't force it. Knowing that Lu Lei didn't believe her, she softened and said that. Sure enough, Lu Lei's tightly furrowed brows relaxed a little. Lu Lei's emotions were quickly captured by Xiaohong. Thinking that this method was feasible, Xiaohong continued, Sister Yun'er, I really accidentally touched you. Can you forgive me? I'll be careful in the future. Lu Lei still somewhat believed that Xiaohong really pushed her, but Xiaohong's attitude made him feel that it was okay. Apologizing after bullying someone meant that he at least knew that he was in the wrong. Zhao Yun'er smiled coldly and said to Xiaohong, Little sister Xiaohong must be joking. How could I blame you? After all, you were careless. Just be more careful in the future. There was a warning in Zhao Yun'er's words. If Xuanhuan dared to provoke her again, her acting skills wouldn't be any worse than hers. If worst came to worst, she would accompany her to the end. She didn't believe that she couldn't win against a white lotus. Xuanhuan pursed her lips. Thank you, Sister Yuner. I'll be careful next time. Xuanhuan looked at Lu Lei again. Seeing that Lu Lei's face was still cold, she sighed. She didn't know how Lu Lei would treat her in the future. She only hoped that this time she wouldn't leave a bad impression in Lu Lei's heart. As for Zhao Yuner, if she had the chance, she would definitely take revenge. Big brother Lu, big sister Yuner, if there's nothing else, I'll take my leave, Xuanhuan said. Zhao Yuner pretended not to hear and ignored Xuanhuan. Lu Lei responded indifferently. His attitude was also very cold. Seeing that Xuanhuan had left, Lu Lei asked with concern, Yuner, how are you? Are your injuries serious? It's all my fault. If it weren't for me, Xuanhuan wouldn't have targeted you. Zhao Yuner shook her head. It's okay, brother Lei. I just fell. I'm not injured. Alright, why did you come here? Chapter 248. Of course, this was only one of the reasons. Another reason was that she wanted to come over and see Zhao Yuner. She would only feel comfortable if she could see Zhao Yuner from time to time. I don't need any help here, Zhao Yuner said. What she said was the truth, and she didn't want to have too much to do with Lu Lei. There was a trace of disappointment in Lu Lei's eyes. No, brother Lu, aren't you busy these days? What's there to be busy about? There aren't many fields at home, so I finished them in a short while. I went to the mountains a few more times these days, but my luck wasn't very good. I didn't bring anything back. It's okay, brother Lei. Take it slow. It will be fine. Yes. Lu Lei nodded heavily. Only when he saved enough money would he have more ability to stand in front of Zhao Yuner. Now that he didn't have the ability, he couldn't say a lot of things and couldn't guarantee it. The smell of cooked rice floated in the house. Zhao Yuner thought that it was time to eat, but she didn't want to keep Lu Lei. It was even more embarrassing to drive him away. She looked at Lu Lei awkwardly and said to him, Brother Lei, we have to eat? Do you want to stay and eat? Zhao Yuner was just being polite. Lu Lei waved his hand. No, I'll go back and heat up the dishes myself. You guys eat. She wanted to eat, so he couldn't continue to stay. He had to leave. Looking at Lu Lei's back, Zhao Yuner breathed a sigh of relief. She turned around and prepared to go into the house to move the table out. In the house, Mu Lianfeng retracted his gaze from the crack of the door and quickly lay down on the bed. Naturally, he saw the series of things that Zhao Yuner did just now. Mu Lianfeng's mouth held a smile. He was more and more interested in Zhao Yuner. It seemed that Zhao Yuner was still a little different from what he knew. This woman was very interesting. She would occasionally play tricks, but in his eyes he felt that she was abnormally cute. Sometimes it was good for women to be like this. He had seen too many innocent and harmless flowers that needed to be protected. He admired Zhao Yuner even more. At least others wouldn't bully her too much. As soon as Zhao Yuner entered the room, she saw Mu Lianfeng lying on the bed thoughtfully. She hurriedly moved the table out and ate in the courtyard later. Even if it was Chen Erwa, Zhao Yuner still didn't want Mu Lianfeng to be seen by others. After moving the table out, Zhao Yuner called the children to start eating. When the dishes were served, Chen Erwa's eyes were glued to them. How could there be such good dishes? He had never eaten anything like this before. Come on, hurry up and eat. It won't taste good when it's cold, Zhao Yuner said. The three children leaned over the table and didn't feel too restrained. At first, Chen Erwa was embarrassed. Chapter 249. At this moment, only Zhao Yuner and Mu Lianfeng were left in the room, and the atmosphere became ambiguous again. Zhao Yuner knew that Mu Lianfeng still needed some time to recover from the injury on his hand, so she personally fed Mu Lianfeng. When Mu Lianfeng was in the Shitzi estate, he didn't eat a lot of game. Moreover, the game prepared by the Shitzi estate's chef wasn't even half as good as Zhao Yuner's. This meal, Mu Lianfeng enjoyed it very much, and he only said that he was full after eating 2 big plates. After feeding Mu Lianfeng, Zhao Yuner was about to go eat by herself, when Mu Lianfeng suddenly called out to Zhao Yuner, Miss Yuner, what's wrong? Miss Yuner, were you and Daodu often bullied in the village? Mu Lianfeng suddenly asked. Zhao Yuner felt that Mu Lianfeng's question was a little strange. After all, she didn't understand why he would ask such a question. It's all right, Zhao Yuner's mouth twitched. Zhao Yuner was pitiful in the past, but she wasn't. After she replaced the original owner, she wasn't as easy to bully as before. Did Daodu's father really pass away, or did he leave? Why isn't he by your side? Daodu said that he hasn't seen him since he was young. Mu Lianfeng remembered that Zhao Yun had said that Daodu's father had passed away, but after observing for a while and hearing Daodu's words, he more or less understood. Daodu's father probably wasn't really dead, and this irresponsible man got Zhao Yun pregnant and then abandoned her. He didn't even care about his own son. He really looked down on this kind of man. Why are you asking this, young Master Mu? Zhao Yun replied. Zhao Yun's emotions could not be heard from her tone. I'm just asking. Mu Lianfeng pursed his lips and looked at Zhao Yun with a trace of heartache. It was only when he truly lived with Zhao Yun that he understood how difficult it was for Zhao Yun to raise a child alone. Not to mention the living conditions, this weirdo would come knocking on his door every 2 to 3 days. It was really tiring. In the end, Zhao Yun was still a woman. Without a man by her side, others would think that she was easy to bully. If she had a man by her side to protect her, she wouldn't have to suffer so much. Zhao Yun was silent for a moment, then a bitter smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. You may not believe it, but it's true. I don't know who Daodu's father is either. Mu Lianfeng was surprised for a moment. He knew that there must be something going on here. Zhao Yun didn't say anything, so he couldn't ask in detail. Then, Miss Yun, have you ever thought of remarrying? If you remarry, Daodu will really have a father, and you and your son will have a guarantee for your lives, Mu Lianfeng continued. Zhao Yun felt that Mu Lianfeng's question was getting stranger and stranger. What did he mean by this? Young Master Mu, what kind of man do you think I can find with my conditions? If I marry a worse man, wouldn't my life be ruined? I think it's pretty good now. With Daodu, as long as I work hard in the future, my life will definitely get better and better. Don't you think so, young Master Mu? Zhao Yun said this to show her strength. Chapter 250. Mu Lianfeng also smiled at Zhao Yun and nodded, agreeing with Zhao Yun's words. He really wanted to tell Zhao Yun that he was actually willing to marry her and take good care of them. He didn't say this sentence because he wasn't sure. After all, he didn't have complete control over his marriage. If he agreed early and couldn't fulfill it in the end, he was afraid that Zhao Yun would be disappointed. The next day, Zhao Yun went to Yang City to deliver bullfrogs. This time, the quantity was even smaller. Yesterday, she brought Zhao Tianfu and Daodu up the mountain, so the two children didn't catch many bullfrogs. It was probably less than 5 kilograms. She didn't know if Sun Xuanhuan would say anything if she sent it. But today she sent less bullfrogs. Tomorrow she should be able to send more over. Aunt Lu had already arranged for her son to go to a few nearby villages to give instructions. Today they would go to purchase them. In total there should be a lot of bullfrogs. What surprised Zhao Yun was that when she went to Yang City today, Xuanhuan came again. It was really a little abnormal for her to enter the city for 2 consecutive days. This time, Xuanhuan also carried a basket on her back. There seemed to be something in it. It was covered with a piece of cloth, so Zhao Yun couldn't see anything. There was a sense of uneasiness in her heart. She felt that Xuanhuan came to Yang City for her. Zhao Yun couldn't find any evidence, and it wasn't convenient for her to question. She stared at Xuanhuan's basket for a while. Xuanhuan glared at Zhao Yun unhappily. What are you staring at my basket for? Xuanhuan's tone was tough, but a trace of guilt flashed in her eyes. Can't I look around? Did he steal it from you or rob it from you? Zhao Yun also replied unhappily. Zhao Yun don't be stubborn. Xuanhuan huffed. I'm too lazy to argue with you. Zhao Yun rolled her eyes at Xuanhuan and looked away. When they reached Yang City, Zhao Yun got off the ox cart and went straight to the restaurant. He gave bullfrog to Sun Xuanhuan. Sun Xuanhuan looked at the things Zhao Yun sent over and couldn't help but sigh. Miss Yun, the bullfrogs are selling better and better, but you're sending less and less bullfrogs. This is really making things difficult for me. They ordered so much every day. Even if they didn't ask Zhao Yun to send more, they couldn't possibly send less. Shopkeeper, I'm sorry. I didn't deliver enough today. I'll definitely be able to send more tomorrow. Zhao Yun said somewhat apologetically. She could understand Sun Xuanhuan's difficulties. If she could send more, she would definitely want to send more. After all, the more she gave, the more money she could earn. This thing was priced by weight. She wasn't so stupid that she didn't know how to earn money. Sun Xuanhuan didn't know if Zhao Yun was telling the truth or just comforting words. He could only sigh and shake his head. All right then. Miss Yun, I hope you can send more. Sun Xuanhuan gave Zhao Yun the money, and Zhao Yun left the restaurant. Not long after Zhao Yun left, Xuanhuan strolled to the front of the restaurant. She wanted to go in but was stopped by the restaurant's waiter. Xuanhuan was dressed in rags. It was obvious that she was someone who couldn't afford to spend money in the restaurant. The waiter wouldn't casually let people into such a high-class restaurant. Xuanhuan naturally didn't think of this situation, but she had an idea. She said to the waiter, "Little brother Xiaoyun asked me to come. Do you know Xiaoyun?" Chapter 251. As waiters of the restaurant, they all understood how the business of the restaurant became so popular. If it weren't for Xiaoyun sending bullfrog over as the main dish of their restaurant, how could the business suddenly become so popular? "Little brother Xiaoyun asked me to come over." Xuanhuan smiled embarrassedly. The restaurant waiter looked at Xuanhuan suspiciously and replied, "Yun just left. How could she ask you to come over? If you came over, shouldn't the two of you be together?" "Little brother, wasn't I delayed by something? I have something to send over. Your shopkeeper will know when he sees it." The restaurant waiter didn't think too much. Anyway, it was fine to let this woman see the shopkeeper. So he said faintly, "Then come in. Follow behind me. Don't run around." "Got it." Xuanhuan followed the restaurant waiter and entered the restaurant. She had been staying in the countryside, so she didn't know much. It was the first time she came to such a luxurious place. She couldn't help but sigh. The rich people in this city were so good. They could even come to such a good place to eat. Naturally, this place was so luxurious. Xiaoyun came here. She probably made a lot of money here. But it didn't matter. When she did this business, there would be an endless amount of money waiting for her to earn in the future. The restaurant waiter brought Xuanhuan to see Sun Xianhuan. Sun Xianhuan glanced at the woman who didn't have any special features and asked faintly, "What are you here for?" "Shopkeeper, I want to do business with you," Xuanhuan said with a smile. Her smile seemed to be trying to curry favor with the shopkeeper. Sun Xianhuan didn't drive her away immediately this time. Instead, he listened to what Xuanhuan wanted to do. "Say it." "Shopkeeper, I want to sell you something. It's the same as what Xiaoyun sent over." Xuanhuan said and quickly took out the thing in the basket. Then she put it in front of Sun Xianhuan. "Shopkeeper, this thing is called bullfrog, right? Take a look. Is it the same as what Xiaoyun sent over?" Sun Xianhuan glanced at it. It really was a bullfrog that had been peeled. It was the same one that Xiaoyun had sent over. Sun Xianhuan's heart was filled with joy. His restaurant lacked such things, so the more people gave him, the better. How could he not accept it? Sun Xianhuan suppressed the excitement in his heart and calmly talked business with Xuanhuan, showing that he didn't want to buy it. "This sister-in-law, your gift is indeed the same as Miss Yun'er's gift. However, I have signed a contract with Miss Yun'er beforehand. I will only accept gifts from her." Xuanhuan understood what Sun Xianhuan meant. It wasn't easy for her to come across a chance to make money. How could she let it go? Thus, she began to torment Sun Xianhuan. "Shopkeeper, you see, although you've signed the document, you've accepted my things. If you don't say anything and I don't say anything, Xiaoyun won't know. So, how much did Xiaoyun give her? Just give me half of it." Xuanhuan lowered the price very much. She really didn't know the price that Sun Xianhuan gave to Xiaoyun. Sun Xianhuan listened and pondered for a moment. Lowering the price by half would save him a lot of costs. In addition, the amount that Xiaoyun sent over was not enough. All in all, he made a profit. Chapter 252. Xuanhuan was overjoyed and kept saying, "Manager, thank you. You're really a good man." Sun Xianhuan curled his lips and smiled meaningfully. This was because other restaurants didn't know the practice of bullfrogs. If Xuanhuan sent it to other restaurants would probably pay a higher price if they knew it was bullfrogs. Sun Xianhuan thought for a moment and said to Xuanhuan, "If you have any goods in the future, just send it to me. Don't go to other restaurants to ask. No one will buy it except me." Xuanhuan also thought carefully and believed Sun Xianhuan's words. This was not a good thing. There were a lot of bullfrogs in the countryside. If they could be sold everywhere, wouldn't they have been snatched up long ago? She guessed that every family in the village had gone to catch them. "Got it, manager. I'll definitely send it to you as soon as I have it," Xuanhuan said with a smile. Well, come with me. Let's settle the bill," Sun Xianhuan said. "Okay." Xuanhuan excitedly followed Sun Xianhuan's steps. Xuanhuan had a total of 12 caddies of bullfrogs left, so Sun Xianhuan settled the bill for 120 coins. When Sun Xianhuan handed the money to Xuanhuan was suddenly stunned. She counted and found that there were 120 coins in total. That was to say, the price of bullfrogs was still 20 coins per caddy. She had discounted half of the price, so there were 10 coins. She didn't expect that this thing, which no one in the countryside wanted, would be so expensive. It was unbelievable. It seemed that during this period Zhao Yun'er, that little bitch, had made a lot of money by selling bullfrogs. Fortunately, she was smart enough to dig out what Zhao Yun'er had done from little Sheba of her family. Although the price given to her by the restaurant was not as high as the price given to Zhao Yun'er, she could still make a lot of money. She would catch more bullfrogs later. With a few hundred coins in her account every day, she could make several taels of silver in a few months. How could there be such a way to earn money in the countryside? Working hard in the fields all year round, in the end, the harvest would probably not even amount to a few taels of silver. Qin Hailan happily accepted the money Sun Xuanhuan handed over. She stuffed it into her pocket and left the restaurant. After getting so much money at once, Qin Hailan didn't want to treat herself unfairly. She hurried to the market and bought more things. Zhao Yun'er came out of the restaurant and went to the shops on the street. She looked around to see if there was anyone selling quilts. The blankets in the house were already very thin to begin with. She and Daodu couldn't even cover themselves with them. Mu Lianfeng was sleeping with them, so the blankets were even thinner. It was too cold at night, so she couldn't help but lean closer to Mu Lianfeng. Zhao Yun'er was afraid that if she slept soundly tonight and woke up in Mu Lianfeng's arms the next day, it would be awkward. In ancient times, quilts were made of cotton balls. Generally, people who grew their own cotton at home could send their cotton to be processed and made into quilts for a processing fee. There were also ready-made quilts that were bought directly. Fortunately, the business in Yang City was prosperous and there were all kinds of things. Quilts were also easy to buy. However, quilts were not sold in the new street, but in some shops in remote locations. Zhao Yun'er searched for a long time before she found it. After entering the shop, she found that the business was very quiet and few people came. Chapter 253. Those who wanted to buy a quilt now were probably like Zhao Yun'er. Their families were in a hurry to use it. Also, on normal days when the family held a wedding, the slightly wealthier families would buy a few new quilts for their daughter's dowry. Apart from winter, this was how the business of the quilt shop came about. After Zhao Yun'er entered the house, an old lady in her 50s or 60s came over. She went up to Zhao Yun'er with a smile and asked if she wanted to buy a quilt. "Granny, what's the price of your quilt?" Zhao Yun'er asked. The old lady chuckled and said, "Little girl, there are a total of 3 quilt shops in Yang City. Don't worry, my shop is the cheapest. If you don't believe me, you can go to the other 2 shops and ask for the price." As the old lady spoke, she brought Zhao Yun'er to look at her quilt. She pointed at the quilt and said to Zhao Yun'er, "This quilt is new. It's made from the cotton that was just harvested this year. Swarm. It's 22 copper coins per caddy. This one is made from last year's cotton. It's 20 copper coins per caddy. Miss, take a look. Do you want to buy this year's new quilt or last year's?" Zhao Yun'er stared at the quilt for a while. The quilt was made at a different time, but they were all new. The white quilt was obviously very warm. When Zhao Yun'er heard the old lady's words, she felt that she was doing business with integrity. After all, if she didn't say it out loud, who knew if it was made this year or last year? A caddy of quilt cost so much. There were both thick and thin quilts here. There were 5 caddies, 7 caddies and 10 caddies. Zhao Yun'er planned to buy 3 quilts to bring back. 1 for the bottom, 1 for the top and 1 for the top. Then she would buy a thin one. When the weather became warmer, she could change out the thick quilt and cover the thin one. 7 caddies of quilts would be enough. 1 for the thick and 1 for the thin ones, which added up to a total of 22 caddies. "Granny, get me this year's new quilt. I want this, this and this." Zhao Yun'er pointed at the quilt. The old lady smiled and said, Okay. I'll get it for you." The old lady folded the 3 quilts neatly and tied them together with a thick rope. "Miss, this is good. Can you carry it?" The old lady looked at Zhao Yun'er's thin and small body. She didn't look like someone who could carry things, so she asked with some concern. Zhao Yun'er lifted it a little. 22 kilograms was not too heavy for her. She could carry it with one hand. "I can carry it. Grandma, you don't have to worry about me." The old lady nodded. "That's good. Then, young lady, please settle the bill. This new quilt costs 22 copper coins per caddy. That's a total of 22 caddies, so it's 484 copper coins. Young lady, since you've bought 3 beds at once, I'll charge you 460 copper coins." It was a discount of 24 copper coins. Chapter 254. The woman's face was sallow and full of pockmarks. She looked disgusting. Plus, when she scolded her, her saliva flew everywhere. Zhao Yun'er had only seen such a person in novels. She didn't expect such a person to exist in real life. Zhao Yun'er looked at the old lady sympathetically. Everyone had to be filial. It was a little sad to meet an unfilial wife. Looking at the old lady's reaction, she was probably used to being bullied by this woman. After the woman scolded her, she heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the old lady didn't talk back. Otherwise, she would definitely scold her again. Xianxia stopped looking at her sympathetically and said to the woman indifferently, "Are you still selling this quilt or not?" The woman glanced at Xianxia and said, "I'm selling it, but it's still 484 copper coins. I can't give you such a huge discount." It was obvious that this woman was greedy. Since the old lady was willing to give her a discount of 24 copper coins, that was on the basis that she could make money. Seeing that Xianxia didn't say anything, the woman said again, "In Yang City there's no one selling it cheaper than us. If you don't want to buy it, forget it." The woman's arrogant attitude made Xianxia a little unhappy. What kind of person was this? How could business be like this? No wonder this shop's quilt was cheap, but not many people came. There must be a reason. The old lady couldn't help but say, "Kai Feng, the price we agreed on is changed just like that. That's not very good, is it? We have to be honest when doing business. Why don't we waive the 24 copper coins for this lady?" "You old hag, you still have the cheek to say that. You said the money, not me. When did I agree to waive the 24 copper coins? You blindly raised the price without my consent. When the family runs out of money, go out and earn it." The woman called Kai Feng by the old lady started scolding again. The old lady didn't say anything, but she looked at Xianxia apologetically. After all, he felt sorry for Xianxia for not honoring the agreed price. However, it was only 24 copper coins. Xianxia really didn't care about that much. If the old lady was scolded for such a small amount of money, Xianxia would feel bad in her heart. Thus he said to Kai Feng, "That's enough. I didn't say that I wouldn't give it to you." As Xianxia spoke, she took out 16 copper coins from the string of money and threw the rest to Kai Feng. Kai Feng counted carefully and said to Xianxia, "The money is right. You can take the things." Xianxia carried the quilt over her shoulder. Before she left, she snorted at Kai Feng and said, "Auntie, this is the first time I've seen you do business like this. No wonder you sell things at a low price and your business is not good. Ordinary people are not willing to come here. Also, being filial to your elders is something that even children understand. You're so old yet you don't do it. How interesting. However, it doesn't matter. I'm sure you have a son. Now that you treat me like this, your son and daughter-in-law will definitely learn from you in the future. When that time comes, you'll end up in the same miserable state. I say, little girl, you're quite a busybody, aren't you? Don't you know how to talk?" Kai Feng said as she rolled up her sleeves, wanting to teach Xianxia a lesson. The old lady pulled Kai Feng back immediately. "Kai Feng, don't be impulsive." Chapter 255. She hoped that she would not encounter such things in the future. Otherwise, she would probably want to meddle in it again. Xianxia went to the market to buy some meat and vegetables. The vegetables at home had not grown yet. She could not keep eating other people's vegetables. The cheapest vegetables she bought in Yang City only cost 1 copper coin. It was still very cost-effective. After buying the vegetables, Xianxia was ready to go back. Suddenly, there was a crowd in front of her. Xianxia saw that it was still early, so she went over with the mentality of watching a show. Squeezing into the crowd, she saw a man in his 20s flirting with a girl. The girl was only in her teens. She looked very delicate and pretty. Beside the girl was an old man. He looked very sick. There were a few attendants behind the man. Judging from his clothes, he should be relatively rich. But his appearance was really a little indescribable. He had a face full of pockmarks. His eyes were so small that they could not be seen. He also had a mouth full of buck teeth. His body was thin and short. At first glance he looked very ugly. Xianxia asked the people who were watching the show at the side. She asked, "What happened?" "I heard that this old man lost money in gambling. Then he owed this young master 50 taels of silver. Now that he can't change the money, the other party wants to capture the old man's daughter and use her to repay the debt." Xianxia nodded. The legal system in ancient times was not as perfect as the current one. Generally, when one owed money, it was very normal to use the family's children to repay the debt. So it was best not to get involved in gambling. Otherwise, it was very likely that the family would be ruined. This old man looked pitiful but also hateful. If it were not for his actions back then, his daughter would not be like this. The man's subordinates lifted the girl up and looked like they were going to drag her away. The girl cried like an apricot flower in the rain. She looked very pitiful as she shouted at the old man on the ground. "Father, father, save me. The old man was so anxious that he began to cry. He said to the man, "Young Master Meng, when did I owe you 50 taels of silver? This old man has never gambled for so many years." "I've never gambled. I just wanted to live a good life with my little Feng. But this young Master Meng took a fancy to my little Feng and wanted to buy her as a concubine. I didn't agree. After all, I only have one daughter. No matter what, I can't let her suffer such grievances in the future. That's why Lord Meng framed me for losing 50 taels of silver in his bank." Saying that, the old man sobbed. He wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes and continued, "Everyone, please help me. I don't want my daughter to be ruined like this." After the old man finished speaking, the crowd began to discuss. Some people who knew the old man said, "Uncle Chin is a very honest man. I've never seen him gamble before. It seems that this matter is really strange. Does that mean that young Master Meng used this as an excuse to steal Uncle Chen's daughter? Right? Uncle Chin is so pitiful. Why don't we help him?" Chapter 256. That's true. If we offend young Master Meng, we won't be able to survive in Yang City anymore. Many people sympathized with Uncle Chin, but facing young Master Meng, they were afraid of causing trouble for themselves, so they didn't go forward. Young Master Meng's subordinate walked up to Uncle Chin and grabbed him by the collar. "You old bastard, what nonsense are you talking about? Our young master said that you owe 50 taels of silver, so you owe 50 taels of silver." Uncle Chin's thin and weak body couldn't compare to those trained subordinates. Xuanhuan was instantly enraged. Damn it, this was robbing a woman on the street. Originally, she was afraid of causing trouble and didn't want to interfere, but she couldn't control her impulse. She was a police officer and had been a police officer for many years. Some habits weren't easy to change. In her eyes, this was no different from the trouble in the 21st century. If she didn't stop it, she was afraid that someone would die. Xuanhuan stood up and grabbed Meng Gongzi's subordinate's hand. With a backhand pull, she threw him away. She threw him away and saved Uncle Chin. Xuanhuan pulled Chin Bo down. With her skills, she thought about it. Meng Gongzi's men didn't seem to be easy to deal with. If several people beat her, she estimated that she wouldn't be able to hold on. Young Master Meng's attention was attracted by the person who suddenly appeared. He saw Xuanhuan's skills just now. It was rare for a woman to be so powerful. Moreover, her movements were exceptionally cool. When he looked at Xuanhuan's face, she was also a delicate and pretty girl. She looked even prettier than Uncle Chen's daughter. Young Master Meng touched his chin and was instantly interested in Xuanhuan. Originally, a few subordinates wanted to go forward and grab Xuanhuan, but they were stopped by young Master Meng. "Don't do anything. Stand there obediently. This young master hasn't said anything yet. If you scare the little girl, you'll suffer." Young Master Meng scolded his subordinates. "Yes, master." After reprimanding his subordinates, young Master Meng smiled at Xuanhuan and asked, "Young lady, what are you doing here?" Contrary to Xuanhuan's expectations, this young Master Meng was actually very polite to her. Frowning, Xuanhuan said coldly, "Of course I couldn't stand it anymore. That's why I came over to ask. Why are you bullying people like this? Do you think you can steal someone else's daughter just because you're rich and powerful? Young lady, what you're saying is wrong. What do you mean that I'm relying on my wealth and power to snatch someone else's daughter? That's because this old man owes me 50 taels of silver. Now that he doesn't have the money to pay it back, isn't it right to compensate for his daughter?" Young Master Meng raised his eyebrows and patiently explained to Xuanhuan. Chapter 257. Go back with him to take a look? Xuanhuan was not stupid. How could she be willing to do that? If she really went, who knew what kind of danger would be waiting for her? Why aren't you saying anything? Are you unwilling? I've shown you the evidence, but you don't even want to look at it. What else can I say? Young Master Meng, you have money and power. You can make a dead person alive. What else can I say? However, please be magnanimous and let go of the innocent girl. You're so rich. What kind of girl can't you buy with money? You don't have to hold on to her and not let her go, right? Xuanhuan could only persuade from another angle. She knew in her heart that if he really needed evidence, this young Master Meng could also forge one. Young Master Meng was originally interested in Uncle Chen's daughter. Now that he saw Uncle Chen's daughter crying, his interest immediately disappeared. There were many such women in his family. If he took them back, he would probably be annoyed in the end. On the contrary, Xuanhuan was very interesting. If he married her as a concubine, it should be something special. Young Master Meng smiled and said to Xuanhuan, "Since you said so, then we'll do as you say." As young Master Meng spoke, he called his subordinates to release Feng who was trapped. Zhao Yun was slightly surprised for a moment. She felt strange in her heart. This man was so easy to talk to? A sense of conspiracy emerged in Zhao Yun's heart. Feng jumped in front of Uncle Chen and began to cry in Uncle Chen's arms. Father, Feng don't be afraid. Father is here. Uncle Chen patted Feng's back. Young Master Meng came in front of Zhao Yun and said with a smile, Young Master, are you satisfied with this? Zhao Yun looked at young Master Meng suspiciously and said faintly, You won't go back and continue to make trouble for them, right? Young Master, this young master will definitely not go back on his words. If I let her go, I'll let her go. How will I have the time to go again in the future? Zhao Yun looked at young Master Meng's expression and felt that he wasn't lying. However, what Zhao Yun could not understand was why things had changed so quickly. She had come all the way here to snatch him away, and all she did was say a few words, and he was going to let him go? Thank you, young Master Meng. Uncle Chen took Feng's hand and thanked young Master Meng. Now that he had said that he would let them go, it would be too late if they didn't leave now. Thinking about it, they couldn't stay in Sun City any longer. This time they would pack up and leave. Even if young Master Meng wanted to snatch her away, he wouldn't be able to find them. After the father and daughter left, Zhao Yun breathed a sigh of relief. Now she was sure that there was no problem. Zhao Yun also intended to leave, but was stopped by young Master Meng. Zhao Yun frowned warily and asked, What do you want? Little girl, I've done as you said and let him go. Can't we have a little chat? Zhao Yun retorted in annoyance. Talk about what? What do we have to talk about? Zhao Yun's cold and slightly arrogant personality made young Master Meng like her even more. His desire to conquer Zhao Yun also grew stronger. Naturally, young Master Meng knew that he couldn't force a woman like Zhao Yun. She was very stubborn. If he forced her, he was afraid that Zhao Yun might even commit suicide. If she died, there wouldn't be any meaning. Chapter 258. Zhao Yun snorted coldly in her heart. He was not a bad person? Would she believe him? Young Master Meng, that's just how I am. Don't treat me like an outsider. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. Zhao Yun turned around. Young Master Meng knew that Zhao Yun was most likely going to ignore him, and he could not stop her. If he wanted to conquer this woman, he would have to take his time. Anyway, he had plenty of time. Miss, before you leave, can you tell me your name? We're not familiar with each other, so it's not convenient for me to tell you. Zhao Yun said arrogantly and turned around. She only heaved a sigh of relief when she was far away. Fortunately, young Master Meng did not follow her. When she returned to the village, it was close to noon. Zhao Yun realized that Liang Jinxiao had come over. Her heart could not help but tighten. Did Liang Jinxiao enter her house? If he entered the house, wouldn't he see Mu Lianfeng in her house? Zhao Yun braced herself and walked over. Liang Jinxiao and a few other children were sitting on a big rock in the courtyard. Daodu was snuggling in Liang Jinxiao's arms. Mother, why are you here? Zhao Yun walked over and asked. Nothing big. We're having a wedding in 2 days. Your grandfather asked me to come over and inform you. You can attend the wedding then. Zhao Yun was curious. Mother, is there a wedding in our old Zhao family? They're having a wedding? Liang Jinxiao nodded and said, It's your eldest cousin brother. Zhao Tianlong? Now that he was married, what other joyous occasion was there to celebrate? Liang Jinxiao then explained, Your eldest cousin brother has fought for our old Zhao family this time. He was selected by the academy and will be sent to the capital to further his studies in half a month. I have an 80% chance of becoming a high scholar in this year's imperial examinations. The study that Liang Jinxiao mentioned was a policy of Yangqing County. In order to nurture talents, Yangqing County would hold an advanced study every year. A few talents would be selected from all the academies in Yangqing County and sent to the capital. They would find the best teachers there and undergo a few months of intensive training before the examination. Normally, there would be a limited number of places in the academies. Most academies might not even be able to accommodate one person. However, once selected and trained in the capital, the chances of becoming a high scholar would be greatly increased. Many people in Sun City had passed the imperial examination and become a high scholar through this round of advanced studies. Then they rose through the ranks and made a fortune. Who would have thought that Zhao Tianlong would have some ability? Come to think of it, she had never seen Zhao Tianlong with her own eyes after coming to this world for so long. All right, mother, I'll go to the wedding banquet. Liang Jinxiao nodded and then asked about Zhao Yun's situation. He only relaxed after confirming that Zhao Yun'er's family was doing well. Alright Yun, it's a good thing that your eldest cousin brother is studying. The government will pay for part of the expenses, but you have to pay for it too. You have to prepare at least 20 taels of silver for your eldest cousin brother when the time comes. Now that he has to study for Qianfu, the family is in a mess. So, the farm work at home is almost done. Your father is preparing to go to Sun City with Tianan to find some odd jobs. Mother, won't it be too tiring? How old was Zhao Tianan? He was still a child. How could he do so much work? It's okay. If he stays at home, the chores at home will be too tiring. Why don't he go to Sun City to work? He can even keep the other families in check. Chapter 259. She also felt that it was good to go out. In old Zhao's house, the third branch had done the most work. Liang Jinxiao relaxed for a while, then got up and left. After Liang Jinxiao walked away, she didn't mention Mu Lianfeng. Zhao Yun breathed a sigh of relief. Zhao Yun asked the two children, "Didn't Grandma go into the house?" Daoda raised his little face and said sweetly to Zhao Yun, "Mom, Grandma was going to go in, but Daoda stopped her. Daoda knows that even Grandma can't see Daddy." Daoda was already used to calling Mu Lianfeng Daddy. Zhao Yun touched Daoda's head and nodded. "Daoda is the best. Let's go in." Zhao Yun held the two children's hands and went in. Mu Lianfeng was lying on the bed. As soon as he saw Zhao Yun, there was a smile in his eyes. "Yun, why do I feel like I've been hidden in a house?" Mu Lianfeng's tone was a little flirtatious. "Mr. Mu, you're considered a girl, but my shabby house is not a house. Your analogy is a little inappropriate." Seeing Zhao Yun's serious tone, Mu Lianfeng couldn't help but smile. "Yun, why are you so serious?" "I'm just joking." Zhao Yun found that her thoughts had completely caught up with Mu Lianfeng's rhythm. After lunch and a short rest, Zhao Yun took the two children to catch bullfrogs in the field. She wanted to save more money now. After hearing what Mu Lianfeng said today, she thought of her shabby house and really needed to build a new one. She didn't have the ability to pay dozens of taels of silver now. These days there were fewer and fewer children helping to catch bullfrogs. Zhao Yun found that these children didn't help her catch bullfrogs, but they caught them themselves. The field was only so big. Zhao Yun still bumped into Qin Hailan. Qin Hailan also took Gooden to catch bullfrogs, and the children directly gave the bullfrogs to Qin Hailan. Looking at the bullfrogs in Qin Hailan's basket, they probably weighed 20 to 30 kilograms. Zhao Yun's brows couldn't help but twist. This was already very obvious. It was most likely that Qin Hailan got the information about her catching bullfrog from Gooden's mouth. But if Qin Hailan got her hands on the bullfrog, where did she sell it to? Seeing Zhao Yun coming over, Qin Hailan still caught the bullfrogs openly without any guilt. "Hey, sister-in-law, what are you catching?" asked Zhao Yun. Qin Hailan glanced at Zhao Yun and snorted. "Don't you know what I'm catching? Why do you ask when you already know the answer?" Zhao Yun curved her lips. "I just don't know how to catch them. Did you learn from me?" Zhao Yun's words made Qin Hailan a little flustered and exasperated. "Learn from you? Why can't I catch bullfrogs when you catch them? Do they belong to your family?" "No, but you know clearly what you've done wrong. Don't think of the same way when you see others making money. It won't be good if something bad happens." "Zhao Yun, are you threatening me?" "No, it's just a reminder. Let's go, Gooden. You're so crazy. I don't know what you're talking about." Qin Hailan said angrily and pulled Gooden away. Chapter 260. In the end, Zhao Yun wouldn't blame a child. Gooden was probably scared by Qin Hailan, which was why he said it out loud. Zhao Yun was currently curious about who Qin Hailan sold the bullfrogs to. Sun Xuanhuan's restaurant relied on the bullfrogs to make the restaurant's business flourish. Other restaurants were envious and might imitate him. Therefore, it wasn't impossible for Qin Hailan to sell these bullfrogs to other restaurants. Zhao Yun sighed. Forget it. When the boat reached the bridgehead, everything would be fine. It was useless for her to worry about this and that now. In the afternoon, Auntie Lu sent the bullfrogs over. The first time there weren't many of them. Many people probably weren't sure if they would be paid for catching these things. There were a total of 60 caddies. To Zhao Yun, this was already not bad. 60 caddies. If the two families split them equally, it would be 600 copper coins. Zhao Yun had been busy until the evening, only then did she finish peeling these bullfrogs. Among the 60 caddy bullfrogs that were sent over, there were also a few toads that were thrown out by Zhao Yun. It wasn't that toads couldn't be eaten. The skin of this thing was poisonous. If it wasn't handled properly, it was very likely that it would leave behind toxins. Eating it into the stomach might lead to poisoning. Xianxia was too lazy to take that risk. She didn't care about earning a little more money. After dinner, it was already late at night. It was probably 7 or 8 o'clock. In the 21st century, it might not be considered late. In ancient times, it was rare to eat so late. Zhao Qianfu saw that it was late, so he went back early. He would eat at old Zhao's house tonight. At night, after lighting a lamp, Zhao Yun placed the dishes on the table and ate with Dao Du and Mu Lianfeng. Mu Lianfeng's heart ached when he saw how tired Zhao Yun was. He asked, "Miss Yun, my injuries will probably heal in about 10 days. When that time comes, are you willing to live with me in Yang City with Dao Du?" It was not that they had to live in the Shixi estate. Since he had money, he could buy a courtyard for Zhao Yun and arrange for some servants to live there. This would allow the mother and son to live comfortably. Sun City? Live with you? Zhao Yun asked with uncertainty. No, you and I will arrange accommodation for Miss Yun and you. You don't have to live with me. Mu Lianfeng hurriedly explained, afraid that Zhao Yun would misunderstand. Zhao Yun said, "Oh, we don't have the money to buy a house in Yang City. Actually, it's not bad to live in the countryside." If they went to Yang City, Dao Du would probably not have any friends to accompany him. In addition to the strange things in the village, Zhao Yun also liked this kind of rural and pastoral life. "It's okay, Miss Yun. I can buy everything for you. I will arrange everything for you." Zhao Yun chuckled. "Young Master Mu, you can't do this. If I didn't know better, I would think that you have a mistress outside. I don't want to be misunderstood." Zhao Yun's words made Mu Lianfeng feel a little embarrassed and his face turned slightly red. Raising Zhao Yun as a mistress? How could that be possible? If he really got together with Zhao Yun, he would naturally marry her openly. "Young Master Mu, Dao Du and I are doing well in the countryside. You don't have to worry about us," Zhao Yun said again. She understood that Mu Lianfeng was just concerned about her. However, she had hands and feet. Mu Lianfeng had helped her so much previously. She did not want to continue receiving favors for no reason. Chapter 261. Early the next morning, Zhao Yun carried a basket full of bullfrogs to Yang City. Including the ones she caught herself, it was a total of 70 caddies. Zhao Yun discussed it with Andy Liu. She wouldn't get a share of the money from selling the bullfrogs this time. She still had 600 copper coins. With the money she earned from selling the bullfrogs today, it was just enough to buy a little donkey. Sun Xuanhuan didn't expect that Zhao Yun would really send over a lot of bullfrogs today. Although there were a lot of them, Sun Xuanhuan had no reason not to accept them. In any case, these things sold well. No matter how many restaurants he bought, he would be able to sell them. After Sun Xuanhuan settled the bill for Zhao Yun went straight to the market and began to choose a donkey. In the donkey market, there were also horses, mules, and cows for sale. They were all tools used for transportation or transporting goods. Generally, only rich people would buy horses. As for the mule and donkey, people like Zhao Yun will think about it. The cows that are sold are relatively small. She will buy a calf and raise it. When the calf grows up, it can be used to plow the field, pull goods and so on. There were more shops selling things. Zhao Yun began to slowly choose. After comparing, the last shop gave her the same price as the others. However, they gave her a wooden cart that could be pulled by a donkey. The cart could probably seat 3 or 4 people. It wasn't big, but it could be used to carry goods. It was a total of 1 or 260 copper coins. When Zhao Yun returned, she drove her little donkey. It was much more convenient and faster than old Father Hu's ox cart. It was also easier to feed the donkey. She just needed to feed it some grass. However, the donkey wasn't big. She still had to take good care of it later. It was a little small now, so she couldn't carry heavy goods for him. She had to wait until it was a little bigger before she could carry more important things. Zhao Yun's little donkey was a pity. When she arrived at the village, many people came over to join in the fun. They stared at her donkey for a while. "Yun girl, you've really grown up. You even bought a little donkey." "That's right. No one in the village has ever bought it. It must be worth a lot of money, right?" "Of course it was before. None of us can afford it. In the future, it will be much more convenient to have a donkey in Shangyang City or town." The villagers surrounded Zhao Yun's donkey, which made Zhao Yun speechless. Although the villagers couldn't afford much of it, it didn't mean that it was rare. Most likely they were curious as to how a poor person like her could afford it. The donkey was pitiful. It was in an unfamiliar environment and had to be surrounded. It was clearly afraid of such words. Yuner girl, it seems that if you go to the city in the future, you can bring a few of us along. A woman came up to Zhao Yuner with a smile. It was obvious that she wanted to get closer to Zhao Yuner. The next time Zhao Yuner went to the city, she could really bring her along. That's right. Yuner girl is a good person. If it's on the way, I'll definitely bring her along. A chubby woman also came up and said. Zhao Yuner glanced at the fat on the fat woman's body and thought that if she were to bring her along, she would break their family's donkey. These people really knew how to take advantage of others. They were all shameless. Chapter 262. The moment they heard Zhao Yuner say that they wanted to collect money, these people were instantly displeased. Yuner, alas, we just want you to bring us along. If we give you money, is it still convenient? You can't be so stingy that you're going to argue with us villagers over 3 copper coins, right? Zhao Yuner only felt that these people were a little funny. They were really thick-skinned to a certain extent. That was why they had the nerve to say anything. Zhao Yuner curled the corners of her lips and said with a smile, Auntie, you're wrong. I spent money to buy this little donkey. How can it be free to carry people? Just like when you go to Yang City, can old man whose ox cart give you a free ride? These women could not refute Zhao Yuner's words. It was not that easy to take advantage of others for free. Thus, one by one they snorted softly. Stingy. Isn't it just a little donkey? Who wants it? That's right. Who wants it? Zhao Yuner laughed coldly in her heart. It was best if they didn't want it. She treasured her little donkey. After driving the little donkey home, Daodu and Zhao Tianfu ran over excitedly and stared at the little donkey. Mother, what is this? This is a donkey. Zhao Yuner explained. Mother, Daodu has never seen one before. Daodu's eyes were filled with curiosity. It was obvious that he was very happy. Zhao Yuner carried the 2 children onto the cart and let the little donkey wander around the house a few times. The 2 children were even happier. Children were like this. They were always full of curiosity when it came to new things. When Zhao Yuner stopped, the 2 children still reluctantly got off the wooden cart. With a donkey it would be much more convenient. If there was a chance in the future, she would take the 2 children out to take a look and let them know what Yang City was like. Mother, can Daodu touch it? Sure, but be careful, it might kick you. Oh Daodu, be careful. Daodu touched the donkey's nose with his little hand. The donkey brayed twice and raised its head. Clearly it didn't want Daodu to touch it. The donkey wasn't familiar with her family yet, so it was normal for it to resist. Zhao Yuner stopped Daodu from touching her. Zhao Yuner untied the wooden cart on the donkey and led the donkey into the wooden shed. The wooden shed wasn't big and Lu Lei had helped build it in the past. Usually there would be some wood in the shed, so it was just right for a donkey. Mother, what does it eat? Should we give it the same food as Little Black for lunch? Let's prepare a bowl for it too. Zhao Yuner listened to Daodu's soft and cute words and was amused by Daodu. After the donkey came, it seemed like Little Black's status in the family would be affected. Zhao Yuner shook her head and said to Daodu, Little Mao and Little Black eat different things. Little Mao can eat grass. Daodu can get some grass for it to eat. The donkey brayed again when it heard Zhao Yuner's words. How could this woman casually give it a name? Little Mao? Wasn't it too old-fashioned? Okay, Mother. Then Daodu and Little Uncle will go get some grass for us. Daodu ran off like a wisp of smoke. Not long after, he came back with a bunch of grass. Chapter 263. Daodu walked over to the donkey with the grass in his hand. The donkey, which was originally very arrogant and cold, suddenly changed its attitude. It stretched out its mouth and rubbed against Daodu's side. It stared at the grass in Daodu's hand and its black eyes lit up. Daodu didn't mind the donkey's arrogance from before. Instead, he put the grass in his hand next to the donkey's mouth and motioned for it to eat. The donkey curled its tongue and soon, all the grass in Daodu's hand was in its mouth. Daodu chuckled as he fed the donkey. When the donkey was full, Daodu didn't have much of a reaction when he petted it again. Xiao Mao is full, Zhao Yuner said. It was true that even animals understood the principle of one must be soft-mouthed after receiving gifts from others. Mother, Xiao Mao isn't resisting anymore. Daodu said excitedly to Zhao Yuner. Of course it ate the grass you picked. Hee, then Daodu will pick more grass for Xiao Mao in the future. Little He was a little jealous when he saw Daodu's attitude towards Xiao Mao. He ran over with his meatball-like body and barked at Xiao Mao. Woof woof woof, Little He, what's wrong with you? Why are you barking at Xiao Mao? You're all a part of the family in the future. You have to get along well. Daodu squatted down and patted Xiao Mao's head. Zhao Yun was amused by Daodu's adorable look. She felt very warm at this moment. Little He looked up at Daodu but still barked a few times at Xiao Mao. The small puppy bared its teeth and pretended to be fierce. It was a little comical. Xiao Mao didn't care about such a big puppy's barks at all. He glanced at Xiao He indifferently and let out a soft snort as a response. Zhao Yun was a little suspicious when she saw Xiao Mao's arrogant look. Was this little donkey a spirit? Woof woof woof, Little He felt that he was being looked down upon. He angrily rushed in front of Xiao Mao and wanted to bite it. Unfortunately, before he could get close to Xiao Mao kicked him away. It seemed that Little He's kick wasn't light. Daodu quickly picked Little He up and rubbed him in his arms. Little He, are you okay? Because of the pain, Little He whimpered in Daodu's arms after being asked by Daodu. Zhao Yun's eyes. She didn't know whether to laugh or not. Speaking of which, Blackie really didn't know his limits. Such a small puppy fighting against such a big donkey, wasn't that just courting death? At the very least, he had to wait until it was as big as its mother. Xiao Mao was really polite. It only kicked Little He once. If it wasn't polite, it could have stomped Little He to death. Daodu let out a sigh, shook his head and reprimanded, Little Black, how can you be like this? You and Xiao Mao will be a family in the future. You have to love each other, okay? And Xiao Mao, Little He is still young. Don't bully it too much. Little He continued to woof woof. Zhao Yun's mouth evoked a touch of warmth. Such a Daodu is really cute. Zhao Yun didn't rest for long before Liang Jinxiao ran over. Yun Chapter 264. Yun let's go. Liang Jinxiao pulled Zhao Yun and was about to leave. Zhao Yun looked puzzled. Go? Mother, where are we going? Liang Jinxiao took a deep breath. He was confused when he was anxious and did not explain clearly what was going on. Hence he stopped in his tracks. Yun, someone drove a carriage to old Zhao's house today. He even brought a lot of things over. He said that they were for you, so your grandfather asked me to come over and call you, Liang Jinxiao explained. She was puzzled. Where did this person come from and bring so many good things to her daughter? Her daughter usually did not come into contact with any rich people. Zhao Yun was also puzzled when she heard Liang Jinxiao's words. Mother, what's going on? Who is here? Zhao Yun asked. Liang Jinxiao shook his head. I don't know either. Since he is here to bring you things, I thought you knew. She knew nothing. However, apart from curiosity, she also felt a little uneasy. After all, there was no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Who knew what the other party's purpose was? Zhao Yun followed Liang Jinxiao to old Zhao's house. Just as Liang Jinxiao said, there was a luxurious carriage parked in the courtyard of old Zhao's house. Such a luxurious carriage was very eye-catching in the village. There were already many people at the entrance of old Zhao's house, who wanted to see what was going on. Then the women gathered together and began to chatter non-stop. The people of old Zhao's house were all in the courtyard, very warmly receiving the person who brought the things over. Zhao Yun walked over to take a look. It was a man in his 20s. She had never seen him before, so she did not recognize him at all. Seeing Zhao Yun coming over, xuanhuan showed a rare good attitude. She greeted Zhao Yun with a smile and said, Girl Yun, come here, come here. Zhao Yun frowned. She was disgusted by xuanhuan's face. She was so fake. Li Chuang and Zhao Xinhui, who used to dislike Zhao Yun, also greeted Zhao Yun with a smile. What the hell are they doing? Zhao Yun still walked over. She didn't care what tricks they were playing. After all, she wasn't someone to be trifled with. Xuanhuan smiled and held Zhao Yun's hand. She introduced her to the man in his 20s. Sir, this is our family's Yun. Zhao Yun pulled her hand away from Xuanhua's with some disgust and said sarcastically to Xuanhua, Grandmother, you are much more enthusiastic today. Xuanhua smiled awkwardly. Yun, look at what you're saying. It's as if I'm not treating you well. You're my biological granddaughter. What's wrong with me being close to you? Zhao Yun didn't know where Xuanhua got the cheek to say such words. Didn't she feel disgusted? That's enough, grandmother. Don't be hypocritical. Aren't you just pretending in front of this gentleman? Zhao Yun exposed her without leaving any face. You. Xuanhua couldn't help but want to curse, but in the end she suppressed it. What was a little bit of anger? Money was more important. Chapter 265. That's right, Yun, we're family. You're also part of our family. We'll treat you well in the future. Li Chuang said hypocritically, just like xuanhuan. Zhao Yun'er's lips curled into a mocking smile. Second aunt, what are you saying? We've already split up, yet you're trying to make us so close. In the past, you wouldn't even let me come over when I came over to this courtyard. You little girl. Why are you always so calculative about the past? Li Chuang smiled embarrassedly, feeling like she had been slapped in the face. However, she didn't bicker with Zhao Yun'er. When the man in his 20s saw Zhao Yun'er, he said respectfully, Miss Yun'er, my family's young master asked me to deliver these things to you. He hopes that you can accept them. Zhao Yun'er glanced at the things in the carriage. There were some cloth, gold, silver, jewelry and some more precious food, such as bird's nest and glossy ganoderma. The things in the carriage were all treasures. They were worth a lot of money. It was obvious that he was a rich man. After Zhao Yun'er took a look, she didn't have any greed. No matter how good the things were, they didn't belong to her. She couldn't accept things that were given to her for free. What she needed to figure out now was who sent these things. Young master, who is your family's young master? Miss Yun'er, my family's young master's surname is Meng. You've met him before. When the man said young master Meng, Zhao Yun'er immediately knew who he was. The young master Meng this man mentioned was probably the ugly man she bumped into in Yang City that day. Heavens, could it be that this man had his eyes on her? He even dug out her home address. When she heard that it was young master Meng who gave these things, Zhao Yun'er couldn't accept them. This young master Meng obviously didn't have any good intentions. Thus, Zhao Yun'er refused. Young master, I'm sorry, but please go back and tell your young master that I cannot accept these things from him. Also, tell him not to have any thoughts about me. After Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, the other members of old Zhao's family suddenly became anxious, especially xuanhuan and Li Chuang. The two of them came up to persuade her. Yun'er girl, it wasn't easy for them to come all the way here to give you a present. Just accept it. That's right. It's their good intentions. They even sent someone to give old Zhao's family so many good things. It shows that they're sincere. Don't waste their painstaking efforts. If you return it this time, they might send it back next time. Zhao Yun'er looked at xuanhuan and Li Chuang's faces. What they said sounded nice, but were they really thinking about her? They were just eyeing other people's good things. Zhao Yun'er completely ignored xuanhuan and Li Chuang's words and continued to say to the man, Young master, please take your things back. The man frowned slightly as if he didn't expect this to happen. Miss Yun'er, my young master instructed me to send these things to you. If you don't accept them, I can't go back and report back. The man started to act pitiful. Zhao Yun'er said indifferently, That's your problem. Anyway, I won't accept these things. After Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, she didn't want to continue arguing with these people. She turned her back and left old Zhao's courtyard. Is there something wrong with this damn girl's head? Xuanhuan scolded angrily. Chapter 266. That's right. She actually rejected all the good stuff that was given to her for free. She must have been kicked in the head by a donkey. Li Chuang was also very angry. After all, the old Zhao family hadn't separated yet. If Zhao Yun'er really got these things and gave them to Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao, she would also enjoy a good life. Zhao Yun'er had left, but xuanhuan couldn't bear to let them take so many good things back. The man who sent the things over was also a little anxious. He didn't expect that a country girl wouldn't be moved by so many gold, silver, and jewelry. If he sent the things back, his master would scold him for being useless. He couldn't even handle such a small matter. Auntie, can you persuade Miss Yun'er again? The man asked xuanhuan. Xuanhuan pursed her lips and said, Young master, my granddaughter is very stubborn. It will probably take some time to persuade her. Young master, I'm afraid you can't wait. How about this? Why don't you leave the things here? I'll persuade her again. I think she won't be able to accept it for the time being. The man thought about it and felt that xuanhuan was right. Anyway, his master asked him to send the things to Zhao Yun'er's house. He didn't say that Zhao Yun'er had to accept them. Zhao Yun'er's parents and grandparents could accept them on her behalf. Then I'll have to trouble you, auntie. I'll have to explain it to my master when I go back. The man said gratefully to xuanhuan. Xuanhuan didn't mind the trouble at all. She was more than happy to do it. Therefore, the whole family moved out and excitedly moved all the good things out of the carriage. Other than the gold, silver, jewelry, silk, satin, bird's nest, glossy ganoderma, and other things that the country people didn't recognize. However, if it was together with the gold, silver, and jewelry, it was obvious that it was a treasure. If they couldn't afford it, they could take it to town and ask for money. Liang Jinxiao frowned. He did not agree with what xuanhuan had done. She asked cautiously, "Mother, this is not good. After all, these things are for Yuner. Yuner said that she doesn't want to accept them. How can we accept them for her?" Xuanhuan glared at Liang Jinxiao and said, "Your daughter is silly, so are you? Why wouldn't he want so many things? Your family's Tianfu just happens to need money to attend school. This is great. We don't have to worry about the school fees every year." Third sister-in-law, "Mother is right. Don't be silly. If you accept the gift, our Zhao family will have a good life. As for Yuner, go and persuade her again. When the time comes, we will still be a family. Ask her to move back and we will give her a room. It's not easy for a woman to take care of a child," Li Chuanying said. At this moment he remembered that Zhao Yuner's life was not easy. In fact, it was all calculated. If Zhao Yuner didn't come back, these things would be for Zhao Yuner. They couldn't take advantage of it. If they coaxed Zhao Yuner to come back, these things would belong to everyone in old Zhao's family. Everyone would be able to benefit from it. Liang Jinxiao didn't know how to refute. She knew that since they were targeted by xuanhuan and the others, they would never give up the idea of going back. Forget it. She had to talk to Zhao Yuner about it later. Hurry up and move it back. Third daughter-in-law, don't just stand there. Hurry up and help. Xuanhuan called out. Liang Jinxiao sighed and began to help move the rest of the things down from the carriage. Chapter 267. Auntie, I'll take my leave first. I'll leave Miss Yuner in your care. Young master, take care. We won't see you off. After the carriage was far away, old Zhao's family members happily looked at the things that young Master Meng had sent over. So many jewelry, gold, silver, and jewelry. It's enough for our family to spend for a lifetime, Li Chuanying said with a smile. Not only can we spend for a lifetime, but we can't finish it no matter how much we eat. Old Zhao's family will live a good life. Xuanhuan smiled until her eyes narrowed into slits. Especially the several gold ingots. They had never seen such large gold ingots before. Not to mention gold ingots, even silver ingots were rarely seen. Mother, since our family has so much money, why don't we build a house first? We can build a big brick house. We don't have to squeeze our whole family into such a small shabby adobe house. It's best if we can build a big courtyard and make it the best one in the village. Li Chuanying began to suggest again. What she wanted most was to be able to enjoy life. Old Zhao's family had been poor for so long. Now that they finally had some money, they should quickly buy the things that needed to be bought. Xuanhuan felt that Li Chuanying's suggestion was good. We didn't have money before. Now that we have money, we should naturally build a big house. When the time comes, we should build a big house. Each of us will have one room. With that said, most of old Zhao's family members were looking forward to their future life. Zhao Ping'er went forward with a smile and asked, "Grandmother, will each of us girls have a room?" Xuanhuan thought for a moment. There were too many people in the family. If each girl had a room, how big would the house be? Although they had money, they couldn't spend it casually. So she said, "The boys will have a room alone. The girls will have a room together." "Mother, I want a room alone. I don't want to squeeze with them." Zhao Xinhui shook Xuanhuan's arm and said with a pout. Xuanhuan naturally agreed with her precious daughter. "Mother is talking about others. Of course you will have a room alone. Mother, I know you're the best to me. You love me the most." Zhao Xinhui smiled sweetly at Xuanhuan. "Of course, you're my only daughter." In addition to building a house, old Zhao's family members were also discussing other things to add more things to the house and look forward to a bright future. For the excitement of the other families, Liang Jinxiao was worried. After all, they were holding Zhao Yuner's things. If Zhao Yuner didn't agree, these things had to be returned to her. How could they discuss how to spend it now? "Mother, this cloth is so beautiful. Do you remember? Last time we were in the cloth shop, they had this kind of cloth. They said it was dozens of silver taels for a bolt," Zhao Xinhui said. She touched the cloth happily as she spoke. Xuanhuan also remembered after being reminded by Zhao Xinhui. She said, "I remember. It seems that young Master Meng has sent good things." "Mother, there are 7 or 8 bolts of cloth. I like these 2 bolts. Can you make 2 sets of clothes for me with these 2 bolts?" You're tuning in to the Sword Dance in the Vast Sky YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.